Hey everyone, welcome back to 88 Fitness Training. I'm Camille and today we're going to talk about lengthened partials for shoulders. So if you're trying to maximize your shoulder hypertrophy and grow those big delts, definitely stay tuned. Let's dive in. Lengthened partials are definitely a popular topic. You have athletes like Sam Sulek, the hypertrophy coach, Ryan Humiston, all of these guys really advocating for lengthened partials. So I definitely want to tell you what that's all about. So all a lengthened partial means is performing the part of the rep where your muscle's in the most stretched position and only going part of the way up. So it's the bottom part of the range of motion versus the full range of motion. So today we're talking shoulders. We want to build those bolder shoulders. You have three parts to your shoulders: a front delt, a side delt, and a rear delt. And so I'm going to show you some of my favorite exercises for these lengthened partials. And it's all about how can we really optimize hypertrophy and building muscle. And that's exactly what lengthened partials do. So let's go ahead and start with the side delt. One of my favorite exercises for the side delt that incorporates lengthened partials is actually from the mountain dog. So what it is, it's a really heavy partial side raise, superset with very strict, very light, full range of motion reps for the side raise. And so what was great about this, and you can go to Mountain Dog's site and he'll tell you all about it, is that people would really progressively overload and really put that tension into the muscle tissue, which they're not able to do with their regular full range of motion weights. So I love how he explains that bodybuilders back in the day, they used to do this all the time, and that's how they were building up those big delts. And so I'm going to show you that today. So I have 30s right here. This is a weight that I cannot do a full range of motion set. So I'm just going to come part of the way up, really controlling that weight, squeezing those delts just like this. And I like to do about 4 to 6 of these, and then I'll set those down. I'll grab my really light weights. I got 10s here, and now I'm going into those full range of motion reps. So it's a great way to incorporate lengthened partials. Like I said, it's really maximizing your potential for hypertrophy because you're able to keep that tension in the delts for longer. Again, like 30s isn't a weight I can do. So I'm applying that load while the muscles stretch. Anytime your arms are down at your side delts are in the stretched position. So this is an optimal exercise where we're just doing that bottom part of the range of motion. But again, you still need to do full range of motion reps too. And that's why I really like following up with that very lightweight, very strict, full range of motion reps. So that's my number one pick for incorporating the lengthened partials into the side delt. The next exercise that I absolutely love for lengthened partials is over on the cable tower. It's doing that single arm side raise, and there's different ways you can do this. So in this case, my arm's out front of my body. So I'm able to get a lot more stretch on the delt. So when we were doing the heavy partials, my arms were just at the side. And yes, the side delt stretched, by allowing it to come across my body, I'm a lot more stretched. And now I can just come part of the way up just like this. And so this is another great one that you can do. You can even do it maybe behind the back. So step over the cable, allowing that delt to stretch even more, and then doing those partials. So in terms of implementing this into a program, I would actually start with your full range of motion reps, right? And then as you reach that failure point and you can't get the weight up anymore, then you go into your 4 to 6 lengthened partials, extending your set, blowing up those shoulders. Oh, they're smoked. Yes, so another great way to incorporate the side delt and do those lengthened partials. So those are my top 2 for side delts. Let's go ahead and move on to front delts. Front delts. All right, so if you've been watching our channel a while, you know we've been talking about training the front delts in the stretch position for a long time. So now all we're gonna do is put the icing on the cake and show you those lengthened partials. So one of my favorite exercises is just doing extended range of motion front raises on the incline bench. So set your bench up to, probably a 45 to 60 degree angle, lay back, allowing your arms to really stretch. Now I've got stretch on those front delts, and so you can come up into that partial, really keeping load on the delts. And guys, you have to physically engage that front delt, keep that mind-muscle connection, keep that load in that delt. So again, similar to the others, in terms of programming, I would actually hit your full range of motion front raises just like this. And then as you reach failure and can't get it up anymore, go ahead and do part of the range of motion, the bottom part of the range of motion. And that's your lengthened partial on that front delt. But super nasty, super explosive exercise for that front delt. You're gonna feel that burn, you're gonna feel that tension. So really great exercise. If you guessed our next exercise for front delts with cables, you were right. So this is probably my favorite front delt exercise for the lengthened partials. I got the monkey fist grips here, so I can do a nice neutral grip in my front raise. But the great part about the cables is you got constant tension, and you can really let your front delt stretch behind your body, just like this. So come up just to shoulder height. This is what a full range of motion exercise would look like. So the lengthened partial is just part of the way up, just like this. Super nasty. Again with the programming, hit your full range of motion reps, just like that. Really taking your time, focusing on that slow eccentric, slow lowering, and then go right into your lengthened partials, just like this. So between the two of these exercises, absolute delt destruction, y'all. Moving along to rear delts now. So I'm gonna show you two exercises. One is a cable crucifix. So I'm gonna turn around with my arms crisscrossed and I'll go into that lengthened partial. So just like this. All right, you really wanna let your arms cross over one another so that your rear delts are nice and stretched. And then we're just coming part of the way back. Just like this, and you really want to squeeze the whole time. You got to keep those rear delts engaged. Don't let your arms take over, or any other muscle group for that matter. But again, hit your full range of motion reps. As you fail, go ahead, get that max stretch across those rear delts and hit those partials. All right, so that's probably one of my #1 picks. I got another really great one for you, so let's check that one out. The next one for the rear delts done on a pec deck machine. I don't have one, so I'm gonna show you an alternate with the cable stack. I got this one from Ryan Hummiston. It's a really great partial exercise. So if you were on the pec deck, you would sit sideways. So in this case, I'm just gonna turn around like this. I'm gonna get that stretch across the delts, and I'm just gonna come part of the way back, just like this. Super nasty on the pec deck. You can crank up that weight, but you really want to keep that rear delt engaged. And again, you're only coming part of the way. Really let the arms stretch across that body. Keep that delt engaged. You're going to feel it. It's a great one. So thank you, Ryan. The last exercise I'm going to show you is just a dumbbell shoulder press. And y'all, you have to be really careful with this one, especially with the lengthened partials. Because if you've reached that failure point, you need to make sure you're not going to compromise form. But with that in mind, go ahead, hit your dumbbell overhead shoulder press. As you fail, go right into that partial. Just mind the form, keep control. Actively stay engaged, feel those delts, use good form, definitely don't injure yourself. But it's a super nasty one for all three heads of those delts. So great way to finish your workout. So work that in with the shoulder press. So in terms of overall programming considerations, lengthened partials are pretty nasty. So you definitely don't want to incorporate this into every exercise, every set. maybe look at what some of your most important lifts are and then do this at the final set. Because it's gonna beat you up. It's definitely pretty grueling. And the beauty about lengthened partials, and now it's not a magic potion, right? You're not gonna incorporate this and then poof, you got big pumpkins up there. But in terms of optimizing hypertrophy, it can add anywhere from 5 to 10% extra gain. So like, why not, right? So definitely keep that in mind. Be careful how you work it in. When I'm doing this, I usually will pick maybe 2-3 max exercises, and on my final all-out set, that's when I do the lengthened partials, right? I dump everything into that last set, nothing's left behind, and then I move on. So just to recap this video, we started with the side delts. I showed you one of my favorites from the Mountain Dog. What I loved about the Mountain Dog's side raises that you did the lengthened partials, it's a weight you can't do. So if anyone's been trying to progressive overload side delt, that's the long game, right? Like it takes a lot of time to be able to keep upping the reps, keep upping the weight. So if you really want to get past those plateaus, incorporating a weight you really can't do and doing the bottom half of the range of motion can be really beneficial. So definitely check out that one in particular. From there, I showed you the cable side raises with the extended range of motion. I think I actually fell in love with these back when Dana Lynn Bailey was doing her Olympia prep. Man, my girl Dana's got some delts, and this is one of her favorites to do. She would do in front of the body, behind the body, and then some dumbbells at the sides, like these big, nasty triple sets. So kind of taking that same workout and then incorporating the lengthened partials is a really great way to get that volume, get that load, get that tension into those side delts. From there, we moved into some front delt variations. I showed you one of my favorites, the inclined dumbbell on the bench. So just grab a adjustable bench, put it on that 45 or 60% incline, lay back, get that stretch on the delt. And y'all, it's gonna be humbling. Whatever you're standing doing your front delt raises, your weight's probably gonna be a little lower because you're moving that dumbbell over a longer range of motion. And that's why that one is really great. It's not only just the stretch, it's the range of motion. It feels different. And so by hitting those full range of motion reps and then geeking out those last few partials on that one, you can really feel that tension in that front delt. And then same thing on the cables. Cables are great because they're constant tension. There's no dead space. So feeling that burn on those partials on the cables, also really excellent. From there, we moved into the rear delts. I showed you the cable crucifix. So whether you have the monkey fist grips like we do, or even just a handle, doesn't matter. You can even just grab it by the ball here. It's a really great exercise because you're able to get so much stretch across those rear delts when the arms are crossed over each other. So even if you can't hit that full range of motion, you can still do those partials, and they're so beneficial. So give it a try at the end of your set. And then from there, I showed you or talked about the Ryan Humston version of that, where you're sitting kind of side saddle on the rear reverse pec deck, getting lots of stretch. That's, again, a fan favorite. Definitely try it. I think you'll like it. So those were really our exercises. And then we capped it off with the seated dumbbell press. Seated dumbbell presses hit all 3 heads of the delts. So it's actually one of my favorite shoulder exercises just in general. What's great about the partials is you're getting so much stretch on those delts in the bottom range of motion. So even after you can't get all the way back up, you've hit that final rep, go ahead and see if you can do some partials. Just be careful, y'all. Protect those shoulders, maintain the form, maintain control while you do that. All right, y'all, so this is, out of all the lengthened partial ones, shoulders is one of my top favorites to incorporate it. So work those in, let us know what you think and how it's going. And definitely check out our other videos in our shoulder playlist. All right, y'all, Camille, 88 Fitness Training. Hit that like and subscribe.